Carolina. 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, I can be doing it on the virtual sense.
Okay, they didn't reach out to you?
I'll see you at 5.
Channel 5?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. You need to line this up. Sam, right here.
Do you have anybody on the Mobile Association?
Yeah, he was supposed to. Hey, how you doing? He's going to come up out there. I'm putting you on line, okay? How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine, you said.
How's it going today? See you. We want you here. We always want you. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Good morning. Hello, how's everyone? We are done with thoughts and prayers. The hearts of Americans are resilient, strong, loving, forgiving. However, before our hearts could even process the full extent of the pain from one incident of gun violence recently, there is another. The question is, how much can our hearts withstand? Not only has the violence hit Buffalo, Texas, Utah, South Carolina, Chattanooga, but it's also hit Mobile, Alabama City, and County of. 4 lives have been lost recently. It's 4 too many. 1 is too many. But what it leaves behind is suffering, grief on a level that's unconscionable for a family member. To all distinguished guests that are here with us today, the media, citizens, and different organizations. Today we are dealt unconscionable blow after blow after blow by the horrors of gun violence. Shootings are prevalent at every place that we frequent, that we enjoy, including our parks, our schools, our churches. At what point does it end? While the NAACP extends our thoughts and prayers to all who have been affected by these senseless killings, we continue to demand action. Action from our communities to protect and save our communities. We must come together, Mobile. There are no ands, ifs, and buts about it. United we stand, divided we will fall. No one is exempt to gun violence. Our community leaders and organizations, our churches, our lawmakers, law enforcement, administration, in order to curb this violence, we must come together. It takes the entire village. One segment is not sufficient. Yes, we're all shattered. We're all heartbroken. We're all on edge, but we're also all furious that our safeties have been compromised, jeopardized, and dehumanized. But what are we doing to mitigate the epidemic of gun violence? Are we doing the same things over and over and over again? If this was a disease, would we do the same thing over and over again, or would we seek alternatives? This reign of terror by gun violence cannot continue. This crisis demands immediate action. The NAACP refused to accept it, to stand by and allow this preventable threat continue to ravage our city and our communities. With the aforementioned solutions or probable steps toward a solution, some of the things we're asking is for our legislators to pass common sense gun reform measures at the federal levels. Guns are for protection, but not for senseless murder or senseless violence. Ban military-style semi-automatic assault guns and high-capacity ammunition clips that facilitates mass murder. Require universal background check for gun sales and transfers nationwide. Repeal stand your ground. Too many people losing their lives by standing their ground. Add a level of accountability to the dealers, retailers, and any institution that forfeits red flags for finance. We must ensure oversight and equity in all judicial matters, not the color of the skin. And finally, enforcing gun laws consistently among all races. And lastly, we must address mental illness. We must address mental illness on a state level. There's social trauma associated with post-traumatic stress disorder associated with gun violence. Some are never the same again, but yet they are expected, or our expectations are that they would return back as normal functioning citizens within the community. No, mental health must be addressed. Today, the Mobile branch is holding our second project, Ware to stop gun violence. Branches throughout the state of Alabama will be doing similar things over the course of the weekend. Our expectations are to emphasize the urgency of gun violence. The orange that we wear is to honor both the survivors and the victims. Our goals are to create a heightened awareness and a greater sense of urgency to the gun violence epidemic, and to call on everyone, including our lawmakers, to initiate effective gun laws to decrease the violence, eliminate and eradicate the senseless murders and unlawful daily crime facilitated by gun violence. Today we will have a well-rounded group that represents different aspects of our community. Granted, we must all come together. We will hear from Pam Ware from Stand Up Mobile, Patrick Crabtree, the education chair of the NAACP, Mrs. Darlene Martin, People United to maintain the dream, Reverend Jim Flowers from All Saints Episcopal Church, Ms. Nicole Hill, a grieving parent, and Ms. Riley Hunt, a youth. So therefore, we need to hear this from the youth perspective. Next, I would like to introduce our mayor of the great city of Mobile, Alabama. Will be followed by Ms. Pam Hill. Each speaker will have between 2 and 3 minutes, so we will respect your time. Without any further ado, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Compton. Obviously, by the size of the crowd here and the media being here, all of us, plus so many that aren't represented here today, we definitely want to see change. And first, you got to change hearts, to change minds. And there are broken hearts in our community, and you know it. And every time a trigger is pulled, another heart's being broken. A life may not be taken, but a heart's broken somewhere. I'm hoping that will transfer from our hearts to our minds, and recognizing that it's going to take different action than what we've been able to embrace in the past, or that we collectively have embraced. You know, as children, sometimes we're told you shouldn't tell on somebody. in today's vernacular, and even the vernacular when I was coming along, you shouldn't be a snitch. But I would say that one of the messages that I hope that we can change a mindset is that today's children and today's adults that know that somebody is predisposed to hurt somebody, if you do tell so that that crime could be stopped, you're not a snitch, you're a hero. I mean, if you can keep somebody from hurting somebody else, I hope that you will realize that in the eyes of some, yes, maybe you would be a snitch. But if we're going to change this community, we have to be willing to tell the things that we know that others are doing if their intent is to hurt, maim, or kill. And with that information, hopefully we can intervene and stop these senseless acts of violence. I'm appreciative of what you've done, Mr. Compton, to bring this group together. Mr. Compton. I'm appreciative of everybody that's here. And you're exactly right. We have all got to come together. And that is a decision, that is a conscious decision that everybody's going to have to make, that we're going to get on the same train to make a difference. And if we do that, we will make a difference. And we'll make a profound difference. And we may be the first place in America to do that. So along with Mr. Compton, I will tell you this, that we want you on board no matter how tall you are, how wide you are, what your color is. We need everybody helping us put a stop to this senselessness. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Simpson. Mrs. Ware.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Pamela Ware, and I bring you greetings on behalf of Stand Up Mobile and our co-founders, Ms. Amelia Bacon and Ms. Beverly Cooper. Stand Up Mobile is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization dedicated to bringing awareness of the importance of voting and why one should vote by educating, informing, and empowering the community. Stand Up Mobile is proud to share this platform with various organizations present today as we educate to eradicate gun violence. Stand Up Mobile stands with law enforcement. Stand Up Mobile stands with you, fellow nonprofit and civic organizations. And Stand Up Mobile stands with the faith community. Collaboratively, we are working tirelessly to bring programs, to eradicate gun violence. So as we work towards eradicating gun violence in our communities, we acknowledge the resources must be made available to support the movement, mentally, physically, and financially. As others have shared their excellent ideas or will share their excellent ideas, we look for ways to move forward. And in order to do so, we must come with a plan for sustainability once we begin to make progress. For sustainability, we need people in leadership roles to make decisions that will legislate and finance programs that will champion this cause. You need to use your vote to elect local, state, and national leaders who will share your passion to end gun violence. Change can happen when we have elected officials in roles who share our concerns and willing to change the laws to protect our children and youth against this senseless gun violence. Stand Up Mobile stands with you. We want you to stand with Stand Up Mobile. We focus on the importance of everyone exercising their constitutional right to vote. By using your vote, you have a weapon that is far more powerful than any gun. You have the power to select people who can help silence the guns. Together, let's work to educate, eradicate gun violence. It begins through voting. You have the power. Thank you.
I am Patrick Crabtree, Education Chair for Mobile NAACP 5044. I am a retired educator who's taught 38 years. So what I'm speaking on is gun violence in school. This is personal to me. On August 1st, 1966, after stabbing his mother and his wife to death the previous night, Charles Whitman, a Marine veteran, took rifles and other weapons to the observation deck atop the main building tower at the University of Texas at Austin, and then opened fire indiscriminately on people on the surrounding campuses and streets. Over the next 96 minutes, he shot and killed 14 people, including an unborn child, and injured 31 other people. I was 13 at the time, living in San Antonio, watching this transpire live on TV. Back then, this was the exception to the rule, not the norm. Shootings at schools are now the norm and not the exception. Schools should not be prisons. Schools should not be lockdowns. Schools should be safe haven for our children and a place of learning and not a place of death and dying. From 2000 to 2009, 107 students and educators lost their lives, with 137 being injured. On March 21st, 2005, in Red Lake, Minnesota, at Red Lake Indian School, 10 students lost their life. On October 2nd, 2006, in Nickel Mines, Pennsylvania, at Nickel Mines School, 7 Amish girls lost their lives. On April 14th, in Blacksburg, Virginia, at Virginia Tech, 33 students lost their lives. On February 14, 2008, in DeKalb, Illinois, at Northern Illinois University, 6 students lost their lives. From 2010 to 2019, 184 students and educators lost their lives, with 362 injured. On April 2, 2012, in Oakland, California, at Oikos University, 7 students lost their lives. On December 14, 2012, in Newton, Connecticut, at Sandy Hook Elementary School, 27 students and educators lost their lives. On October 24, 2014, in Marysville, Washington, at Marysville Pilchuck High School, 5 students lost their lives. On October 1, 2015, in Roseburg, Oregon, at Umpqua Community College, 10 students lost their lives. On November 14, 2017, in Rancho Tehama Reserve, California, at Rancho Tehama Elementary, 6 students lost their lives. On February 14, 2018, in Parkland, Florida, at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, 17 students and educators lost their lives. On May 18, 2018, in Santa Fe, Texas, at Santa Fe High School, 10 students lost their lives. From 2020 to today, 40 students and educators lost their lives, with 126 injured. On May 24th, in Uvalde, Texas, a place personal to me, because I did a summer there working for the Youth Conservation Corps, at Robb Elementary School, 21 students and educators lost their lives. This gun violence has to stop. We cannot continue to use our children as sacrificial lambs to support the misinterpreted constitutional right to own and bear arms. Guns, especially guns of war, do not belong in schools. May the memories of those slain be a blessing. They deserved better. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Darlene Martin, and I'm the board secretary for People United to Advance the Dream Mobile, Inc. And it is with a heavy heart I stand before you today, again, and again, saying how sorry we are for young lives being lost to senseless violence. And we say again today on this 3rd day of June, 2022, how much longer will we all live in fear, especially our young people, without someone acting today? Well, on behalf of People United to Advance the Dream, We stand with the NAACP, the local police force, the DA's office, public safety, the local community, and for all the parents. Let's say enough is enough. The time is now. No more silence. We must end gun violence. The time is now. No more waiting to see the local officials, including Washington, D.C. We may not be able to save every child, every life, but we have to try to save who we can. There was a brave young mother in Texas at the last school shooting who received a frantic call from her young children saying that there was an active shooter in the building. She drove over 100 miles an hour to reach the school in record time, to find over 19 officers standing outside doing nothing. What did they do? They arrested her, held her for 15 minutes when they decided to let her go because they were trying to do something or show they were doing something. She made her way into the school, rescued her daughter, took her to safety, went back in the school, rescued her son. There's a picture of her walking to her car. How sad. How sad. No bulletproof vest, no assault rifle, no gun, nothing, just a mother's love. I like the gentleman before. This is personal to me. I taught school 13 years. I was never afraid. I told my students all the time, when you enter my door, I'm the mama. In 13 years, not one mother ever came and say I wasn't a mother. So if I can stand for your child, can you stand for your child? Come on now. Really? Forgive me, but enough is enough. If you don't have a child, unless you are living under a rock, every child in your neighborhood is your child. When I was growing up, it took a village to raise me. I don't know about y'all. Y'all might have raised yourself. I didn't. Thank God for the Miss Singletons, the Miss Johnells, all the people who supported me when I had to walk to church by myself. When I'm not gonna ask another official to meet with me. I've done it over and over. I am yet to meet with anybody. Guess what? God already did it for me, so save it. Save it. I'm almost done, y'all. If not now, when? When are we going to get in the trenches with our children? Where is our grit? Some of y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. Like that young mother who drove down there, wasn't waiting for the 19. That's grit, baby. She didn't ask permission. When she tried to go in, they stopping her instead of getting in there and stopping him. Even if you don't have a child, I already said it, we're the village. Let me help you. I'm sick of the same question. What am I do? What am I do? What do we do? What do we do? You do something. What did Kennedy say? Stop asking what somebody can do for you. You get out and do it. You get out and do it. So if you feel like me, don't look to your left, don't look to your right. Where's my lady? That girl right there. I just hired her. She's 14. She's my new secretary. So pick up a rake and grab a kid. Pick up a paintbrush, grab a kid, show them how to use it. Even if they make a mess, show them. They are raising themselves. This is enough. I am praying that someone, anyone listening to me right now, will do like me. Just find it in your heart to act now. Not tomorrow, because before the sun goes down, somebody else might be lying dead in the street and a mother crying. That sign right there, it has April the 4th on it. People United held a rally just like this, asking the same question. There's an initiative in Texas right now. It's called Dads on Duty. So if you don't work, stop sitting at your house watching Price is Right. Get out there in those schools. I've been there. Why am I protecting your child? You ain't showed up. You don't show up for parent-teacher conference. Now you crying and asking him what? You asking that guy what? What about you? What have you done? I'm done.
Wow. My name is Jim Flowers. I'm the rector of All Saints Episcopal Church on the corner of Government and Street. Mr. Mayor, Chief, Mr. Baptiste, and City Council people here, thank you for being here. I can't add much to what's been said, but I remember poignantly the day that the mass murder happened in Uvalde. It got posted on Facebook, the picture of the shooter, and it said, "The face of terrorism." And I thought, no, this is just a broken kid. A broken kid. The terrorism in this country is in our elected leadership. This is a preventable problem. It's not about ostensibly mental illness or the incompetence of police. The reason police are militarized is because they're facing militarized weapons out in our neighborhoods. The terrorists are legislators who will not take steps to curb this gun violence. We know factually, we know statistically that when assault weapons are banned, mass shootings go down. And when the assault weapon ban expired back in the early 2000s, mass shootings spiked. We live in a gun culture. We're inured to gun violence. Politician after politician during the run-up in this latest primary featured ads with people wielding guns. Even our governor pulled a .38 out of her purse. That is an affirmation that we live in a gun culture. So until our leadership, our legislators take reasonable steps and stop taking the money from the NRA and gun manufacturers, we're going to stay right where we are. We can make this change happen. This Sunday we celebrate the Feast of the Pentecost in the church, that red letter day when the Holy Spirit moved among Jesus' disciples to empower them for ministry. But I'm here to tell you that the Holy Spirit needs us. The Holy Spirit is engendered in our very bodies. So together, the Spirit is among us, and we can make change happen. So yes, thoughts and prayers, but yes, action. Action led by the Spirit of truth and love. Thank you.
Good evening, morning. I'm Tania Hill. I stand before you for all of the victims that have lost their lives, not just one or two years ago, today, yesterday, but everyone, including my child that I lost. Today, I want to take a look at the parents because that's what is at my mind today. Do you know what's in your child's closet? Do you know what your son or your daughter is riding around with? Because that's where it starts. You have to know what your child is doing. We could have all the police officers in the world, but if you're not talking to your child, if you're not involved with your child, how can they make a difference? It takes all of us to pull together. My heart hurts because I know the feeling that those parents are experiencing from losing a young child whose life has yet to begin. Do you look at your children? Do you talk to them? Do you pray? Because God said where two or more are gathered, that he would be there in the midst. And us together, he's there. I claim his presence here with us today. We all have to take a look at the children around us. If you know something's going on with the child, speak up. If you know that your friend is getting ready to take someone's life, say something. Because a little bit of trouble can go to a whole lot of trouble. And whether your child is the victim that's laying there or the person that has took that person's life, either way we lose two children. We have to stand together today, people. I'm so tired of this. Every time I hear a child is gone, I think about my child, 16 years old. A good child. And the message that I want to send to the youth today is, you don't have to be out here. You don't have to be a bad person. You could just be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Parents, know where your children are. Know what your children are doing. You can't blame the police when you don't even know where your child is. Pay attention to your children. Hold on to them. Because today could be the very last day. And some people, this may not even bother them. It never bothered me until it was my child. Let me tell you, God has no favors. It can be you tomorrow. So I just want you all to pay attention to your surroundings. I want the youth to say something when you see something. If you know something about to happen, why not say something? It could be your brother or your sister that get caught up with something that you didn't speak on. So I'm thankful and honored to be here today, to stand for the victims that have lost their lives, to stand for the mothers that can't stand today. Because we will never breathe the same again, but you can continue to breathe. Thank you all.
Good afternoon. My name is Tania Rice. I'm president of the Mobile Area Mardi Gras Association. And from the men of Mamga, we would like to NAACP to know that we're here to back you, and we thank you for allowing us to be here. We also thank Mayor Stimson and the police department for what they're doing. And we all know that there's more work to do. And whatever initiatives that are out there, we're willing to be a part of those initiatives to try to bring the community together to stop this violence amongst our youth. I heard the mother just say about being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I have 3 boys, so even speaking from a parent, I wonder, I always say that my kids are in the right place at the right time. But sometimes it could be at a fast food restaurant, you could be at home. So it's not necessarily always being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I would just say that to you all, even if it's not your child, you think about your child. And when you hear those announcements, breaking news, that someone has been shot, and I think first thing I do is pick up the phone. Let me call and see where my boys are. If I can't get them on the phone, I'm study calling because I'm worried to make sure that they're okay. I have another son that he's the youngest, and you know, he likes to play out in the yard, go down to a friend's house, and you're terrified to let him do that because you just never know. A stray bullet may find him. You could be in your own house, and that stray bullet still finds you. So we as a community really have to bond together and really have to come up with a plan and have some true initiatives. That's going to have to be some ground rules where we can actually get into the community and try to find a way to get to these young kids and be able to bring ourselves out of this situation of this extreme gun violence that we are facing today. And it starts with this, what we're doing right now, and outside of this, it's time for some action. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm 15 years old. I just got into my freshman year. And I realized in my freshman year, it was the first time that I ever felt fear or worry of a shooting. There was a fight that broke out. A man went to his car in his parking lot and he pulled out a gun. And we were all sent into a lockdown. And first, I worry about how these 18-year-old and 17-year-old boys are getting these guns in the first place and where they're finding the right to get these guns. And then you realize there's no regulations for things like this, and it just happens all the time. I have to ask the parents to please check up on your children. There's a cycle that continues all the time. The abused becomes the abuser. A good kid meets the wrong people, and they turn into these people that you don't even recognize. I see all the women in here with their lost children, and it really breaks my heart to see that. I remember after the Uvalde shooting in Texas, how my mom would call me because she was worried about where I am, and she would text me on the phone just to ask if I was okay. And it made me worried too, because I don't ever want to see my parents hurting, and I would just wonder what they would be able to do without me and what I would be able to do without them. And this happens to everybody all the time. There's been over 200 mass shootings in America. And what are we doing? What regulations are being made to stop these people from killing us? All the time, my people are dying. I see my friends crying over their lost loved ones, my family. And I just know that we need to do something, anything. I'm just gonna keep it short because that's all I have to say, but we really do need to make a change. Are we gonna start treating our students, our people like prisoners in the school, setting up security? We have to make new regulations to wear clear backpacks because people are bringing guns and weapons to school just to protect themselves because they need to feel like they need to, and they do. Because that's what's happening to all of these children. I know how many people have died at my school from gun violence. So many people are in gangs. And they're all just little kids. They're all too young to be even having to go through this. So what are we going to do? Because it's been years that this has been happening and nothing has been made to stop it and nothing has changed. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sabrina Mass, and I would just like to say thank everyone for coming out. We had some great speakers today. I definitely want to say something to Mayor Stimson, the Police Administration Director Batiste, Chief Pine, and the Assistant Police. What I have to say today, I'm not going to be long because I can't go long, but I'm not. We had many great speakers. I am tired of marching. I'm tired of protesting. I am sick and tired of walking around with signs. I know the city's tired of us doing that. It's not working. We're gonna have to just stop doing that all the time because this has been going on since the Civil Rights Acts. The marching, the protesting. People obviously are not listening to those things. And one thing I am sick and tired of is always blaming the police department, the mayor. They are doing the best that they are doing. We have got to stop pointing the finger over there and start pointing the finger over here, over there, and over there. I'm a parent. I have black children. I have a black husband. I'm a black woman. I have grown children. It is my responsibility to raise my children. They are grown children. I have grandchildren now. When my kids act up at school, it's my responsibility. When my kids act up in the streets, it's my responsibility. When my kids need to be fed, it's my responsibility. When they need clothing, it's my responsibility. When they are bullying other people, it's my responsibility. Stop blaming the city. Stop getting on Facebook acting a fool. If you're gonna use Facebook, use it for something positive. Stop going after everybody but yourself. Stop doing it. I'm sick and tired of it. You can like me or you can hate me. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, when God gets ready for me to come wherever I'm going, I'm going. You know where I live. Everybody in the city knows who I am. Mayor Stimson, yes, he said it was going to be the safest city. Okay, it's not. Did he make it not the safe city? No, he didn't. Director Batiste, this is the most humble man that I've known to ever be in a uniform. Chief Prime, I talk to him and call him when I need something. I don't care if something, and community service as far as the police, why is it that I live over here off DIP and Hosmans Road and I have one of the safest, most beautiful neighborhoods in the subdivision on DIP? Oh, but people say, oh, it's so much crime. Why? Well, I don't see it in my neighborhood. People ride through there. It's nice and peaceful. You know why? Because they know not to come in my subdivision acting fool, because guess what? The police going to come over there and they're going to round you up and they're going to take you to jail. And I'm going to stand out there and watch them and I'm going to wave at them while they're taking you to jail. So it is community. It's a community responsibility. You know why people don't want to get involved in the community? Because you're doing the crime too. Criminals don't want to get the community involved because they're doing the crimes too. Do not keep blaming the mayor. Do not blame the chief. Do not blame the director. Do not blame the assistant. Do not blame the NAACP. Do not blame your neighbors. Do not blame anybody. Blame yourself. And you know what? These are innocent babies. We are getting PTSD in this city because of foolishness. Stop it. You know what? If it's going to take vigilante neighborhood security forces, so be it. I'm strapped. I'm ready. I'm always got my strap on me. Not today, but I do wear it. So guess what? We're going to stand behind our police force. We're going to stand behind our mayor. We're going to stand behind our citizens. We're going to protect our children. And like the lady said, if it takes for us to stand in these school buildings when school starts back, I will be there. And I'm letting the MC Threadgill, I'm going to be there. Director Batiste, Chief Prime, Mayor Stimson, we're going to be on we got your backs. Enough is enough.
I want to thank each and every one of the speakers that came here today. We're all well-rounded and all citizens of Mobile, Alabama. We're all concerned. We're all affected. We have organizations, we have religious organizations, we have pastors, ministers, and we have our most valuable asset, our children. And let's give Ms. Hunt a round of applause for her most passionate plea to us as adults. We thank nearly everyone here, but I want to reach out to the commissioners as well and our council people. We want to thank you all for being here as well, the mayor, staff, the chief, director, etc. But as I close, a couple things. The NAACP is mission driven. We are mission driven. And being mission driven, there's some religious aspects within everything that we do. Because as I tell everyone, we do nothing of selfish ambition or vain intent, but we humble ourselves and put others before us in every decision that we make. We're fighting forward. We're fighting forward against systemic inequities to our black and brown communities. We are fighting forward to ensure that our mission of ensuring the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights of every person is maintained. We're fighting forward to end racism, gun violence, and hatred. We are fighting forward to heighten the awareness and create a sense of urgency to the senseless gun violence that we all are experiencing in our lives each and every day. We're fighting forward to heighten this awareness. We're fighting forward because it's more important than ever to address the senseless gun violence that we are experiencing. Please, go to our Mobile, Alabama NAACP Facebook page. We are having a virtual tonight to discuss gun violence in our neighborhoods, and we're incorporating the entire state of Alabama. We have hundreds that have already signed up. So please go, be a voice, be a participant. But yet, as Mother Teresa said, let's all try to change one, because if you change one, you change the world. Everyone today spoke about working together. Working together. There is no finger pointing who didn't do what in order to diffuse the situation. Only by working together we can make things happen. Thank you all, and God bless. Thank you. Always. Thank you. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You know, when they break out in January,